Welcome back to the lovely podcast known as Brewing A Storm. Today's guest is none other than the man who currently holds 5 titles. The one,
Six
listen. There's no need there's no need for that. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined here today by the one, the only, the prestigious one himself, Nick Rodriguez. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Charles. It's good to be on the podcast after hearing last 2 episodes. I was really hoping I was able to get on the podcast. I didn't think I was going to be on so early, but I mean, early is better than nothing.
Hey, we were supposed to record with a certain person today, but he wasn't on at his scheduled time, so you asked and you snuck yourself in there. That's all I'm going to say. Alright, well, regardless, we're gonna start off with the questions right away.
Alrighty.
So my first question for you, Mr. Nick, is how you doing today?
I'm doing well. I've occupied myself with listening to your podcast. I've still got a little bit to go on both of them, but most likely after we're done recording, I'm gonna go back and listen to them.
Is there anything you'd like to say to either Alex or Johnny Hazard?
Alex, I enjoyed the podcast. I enjoyed most of the things that were said. Hazard, not so much. So many plot holes that he had brought up in most of what he had said. I think he had said at one point that he was going to job you out, like he was going to Eddie was going to make you a jobber, but in any time we had spoke about that, he had brought no such thing up, like, at all. He never said, I'm gonna make Charles a jobber. He never brought that up to me, or like I said, he never brought that up to me. At least he could have to, maybe Hazard, but I mean, I doubt he would bring it up to Hazard and not bring it up to like me, Derek, or Kacey, or anyone.
Well, we're starting the tea very, very early now, aren't we? We're only, like 2 minutes in? Jesus Christ, we're already causing drama. Well, if we're not causing drama, then it's not Brewing a Storm.
Controversy causes cash, or however the fucking saying goes.
Exactly. But let's get into some more serious questions, and let's start off with actually a very, very easy one, and that's, what is your favorite match of your career?
Ooh, that's honestly a really, I've had many good matches. Some that were I just had a lot of matches. I've only been here for around 2 years. So I mean, like for most people, it's like it's not that much to pick from, but it's like I've got a whole slew of things. I used to be in this one, like my first ever league, NWF. That was my home in originally, but then now it's Legacy. It's a hard question because if you would have asked me this a year ago, I would have said my match versus Aiden Knight. No one knows who Aiden Knight is. Because, like I said, he stays in one company, but I had beaten him at Hardcore Mania, was NWF's WrestleMania, and I had beat him in the match. But if you were to ask me that question now, conveniently still being at the show of shows of a pay-per-view, it would be my match with Ace, now Crimson, at Legacy 5. I enjoyed it. I thought a lot about my attire, and like the storytelling was amazing. The attire that I had, because it made sense, because at the time he was like, I am the god, and as most people know, my attire was Kratos, and as everyone knows, Kratos is the god killer. Conveniently, I ended up beating Ace that night, winning my 3rd and still holding the internet title. So yeah, my favorite match of my career is my match against Ace Young at Legacy 5.
Alright. Anything you'd like to say to Ace Young? Anything about that at all?
No. I mean, like, we're still cool. Like, we're cool, outside of it. after the match, we'd given each other like a handshake, you know, congratulating. He congratulated me. I congratulated him, putting a, like one hell of a goddamn fight. It was like a match, like I said, like my favorite, and it was one that I'm hoping I get to, I guess, recreate sometime soon with him. You never know.
All right. Like we're gonna ask what we asked Johnny last time, and that is, what are some of your favorite CODs in the community right now?
That is a hard question. That's like, bro, you're so good at asking these hard questions. Okay, one person that I like that I feel like everyone like just overlooks him is Silas Green. I don't know. I've enjoyed him so much. I've been like enjoyed his attires, his matches, you know. Maybe sometimes not the matches because, you know, it's like, I don't know. Like, I have favorites in the community, but I don't pay attention to their matches because, I don't know. I guess I have better things to do, you know, like do my matches. But I think he's really underrated. Like, so many people overlook him, and it kind of annoys me because it's like he was one of my inspirations, like my main community inspirations to, you know, get me into this and to make me like branch out. I've never talked to him like on a one-to-one basis, but I've seen like everything, and I just enjoy his stuff a lot.
See, I don't want to be that guy, but I wouldn't really call Silas very underrated. Nothing against the guy; he's one of my favorite friends that I talk to, but
yeah.
Like, he's very not underrated. In fact, most of the people on Twitter know him. It's like he's signed to a lot of promotions. He's very well known. So to say that he's very underrated is very
well, I'll say
weird.
He's underrated, I guess, in my friends' eyes. Because if I ask like Kacey, Derek, Mike, who's like, hey, do y'all know who Silas Green is? No. Derek might say yes. He'll probably say maybe. I don't know. So like, I mean, he's not underrated like in the eyes of the community, but I guess in my small group of friends, he is like not very well known. I'm one of the only people in the group that knows him, minus the times I bring him up saying, if I were able to, I would love to wrestle Silas. That is one of my dream matches, just in general.
Well, speaking of Derek, how do you feel about Derek winning the 3-point title at Supercard Chicago?
So I mean, as we heard, or as Johnny said, he's like, you know, Derek doesn't deserve it. He's so generic. But dude, that man Derek has been working his ass off since Legacy 4. He has been Legacy 4, we basically started around the same time. I started my career in Legacy by crashing the pre-show. Derek was in Legacy way before I was even crashing pre-shows. He elevated the Intercontinental title, him and Kacey, put on amazing matches, had an amazing rivalry, and it's like I was able to, you know, I had a chance to become world champion very early on in my Legacy career. I had to face it all. I had to face off against Elias Monier, now Elias DeMarco, but it was my first encounter with him, and I highly I didn't think I was gonna win. It was Elias DeMarco, well, you know, Monier, and it was me, a no-name in the community at the time. I was like, nah, there's no way I was gonna win, and I won. I was like, dude, you serious? I won? But besides that, he's like waited his whole career for this. I got a world title. I got a world title. Kacey did. I mean, by the means that he got the title, I don't, you know, agree with. He's cool friends with Kacey and all that, but I mean, I know he's got the briefcase, you know, but I mean, congratulations to Derek. In all honesty, you know, I mean, he better watch out because I mean, if I lose the internet title anytime soon, he's next.
Ooh. Very, very interesting challenge. Let's take a little bit of a sidetrack and ask you how you're doing in some of these promotions you're in, because I know you're in quite a few. So let's begin with Rage. How do you feel about your position in Rage right now, and what are your plans there?
So far, I haven't really done much in Rage. I'm hoping to start, like, I had a tag match and then I wasn't booked on the show. I still haven't been booked on the show for quite a bit. But supposedly, from what I was told, there's a Rage Intercontinental title tournament happening, and I've been told by management that I am in the match. So, I mean, I guess that's good. There's a possibility I can hold 7 titles. And then, my other promotions, I can have more, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, Jesus.
All right. How about HCW?
I'm also doing well in that. I am world champion there. Also, like, because in the first episode of HCW, I was in a match with Elias again, Havoc. I don't know where he is anymore. Me, and then a bunch of people that I don't know. I came in second, I think, losing to Havoc, or it was Elias. I think it was Elias. Elias lost to Havoc, and what was it? A few months later, I ended up beating Elias after I cashed in the briefcase, the Battleborn briefcase, and I beat him. And it was like I had been there since the beginning. I hadn't, won any titles, like, at that point in the, company. But when I had beat Elias for the title, it was just like, I was like, I did it. I hit my peak so far in HCW, and I just really hope to, I guess, continue, running with the title and, keep it for as long as I can.
All right. How about XCW?
Recently, I was in a match against Kacey Russell, or KCR as he likes to be called, and I am current U.S. champion in there, and I mean, I don't know if you've seen the title, but it looks beautiful. If you haven't seen it, you should go look at it on my Instagram. But what was I saying? Yeah, I've done pretty good since in XCW also. One of the promotions I've been at since the beginning of its run, and I've won the U.S. title twice. Technically still tag team champions with Goat Squad. That's pretty much it at that point, actually.
All right. Second to last, UVWA.
UVWA, what was it? Current world champion in UVWA just beat, what was it? J Omega once again. I joined maybe a few months ago. Well, by a few months ago, I mean 9 to 10 months ago, and I guess me and Goat Squad had so much drama with UVWA over, issues and all that. Everyone else left. I stayed in, and I was like, I just didn't want to leave or quit over something petty and dumb. So I just decided to stay in the company while everyone else left. And I guess I was rewarded with the world title shot.
All right. Let's talk about Legacy, because this is obviously your bread and butter. So, give me your honest opinion, okay, about Legacy's current product.
Oh, some people might not enjoy it, and some people might complain. I am one of those complainers. Some things that they do annoy me. Like, they basically had me job out to Adam Alexander in 2 minutes, which makes no sense. I have this thing that I call legacy logic, where it's, like I said, I want to defend Legacy. Sometimes they have things, like I said, that annoy me, but, I still love the company to death. I love Eddie and, everyone else to death. Like, I would never wish harm upon them. I would never talk crap about them. But like I said, sometimes he does things that, is bad. Like, legacy logic, like I said, it's like, in Legacy, I lose to Adam Alexander in 2 minutes time. But in UVWA, Duncan Welker, when at Kingdom Come, what was it? Kacey beat Duncan in 2 minutes. 2 minutes flat. But then when I face off against Duncan, I can't even have a positive record over the dude. I think it's 5-2 or 5-3 against Duncan. So I'm on the losing spectrum of that rivalry. So I mean, yeah.
All right. Speak a little bit more about this legacy logic. I would love to know about this, and I'm sure the fans and listeners would as well.
That's pretty much, I guess, legacy logic is like, in one company something happens, and then in legacy something different happens. Like I said, Kacey can last 10 minutes with Adam Alexander and UVWA. When I use legacy logic, I mainly compare it to me and Kacey, and I don't usually use it as a means to compare for me and Mike or me and you. And even though you're not in, I think Legacy is the only company we're in together. But it's just that. It's just one thing happens in one company, and then it's that's completely overturned and it's put in two different ways in Legacy. Like I said, Kacey can last 10 minutes in a UVWA ring with Adam, and then I get jobbed out in 2 minutes to Adam in Legacy at the King of the Ring pay-per-view. Like I said, Duncan loses to Kacey in 2 minutes. I can't even have a positive record over Duncan at all, even though I damn well know I am better than Duncan Welker. I've always told him, and I will continue to tell him, he will always be a lazy part-timer, and we don't need him anymore. We don't need Duncan Welker in Legacy. We don't need him in any other companies. I mean, at this point, what is he going to do? The only thing people remember him for is lasting 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Ooh. Very, very, very ballsy. I'm assuming you have some hostilities against Duncan. Can you explain how that sort of became a thing?
I mean, like I said, I think it all started with, having, I guess, having to lose to Duncan over and over and again, and it just I guess the anger in me just built up, and it's I know it's not Duncan's fault, it's management's fault for telling me that what I need to do, but it's I don't know, instead of getting mad at management, I would just get mad at Duncan himself. So I mean, yeah, he doesn't pay attention when Legacy texts us all in our chat saying hey, a show's on or all that. He's always oh guys, I'm sorry I didn't make it to the show tonight, I missed my flight, and I was oh great, put the world title on this guy because he's just sitting all the way in fucking Alabama or wherever the fuck he lives doing nothing, sitting on his ass. But what do? I sat here and I worked my ass off, and I did all I could, and I got nothing. Well, I mean, I did get 3 world title reigns, but I mean, I had to lose to Duncan twice.
I'm sorry, that's just kind of funny to me. Did I get anything?
Yeah, I know.
No, I didn't get anything. Well, I mean, except the 3 world title reigns. Jesus
World
Christ, man, come on. Come on. You see that's a little bit fucking whack. I got nothing. I've been here.
I've got nothing.
I've been here for 2 years, and I got nothing to show for it, except for my 3 world title reigns and 17,000 other titles. But besides that, I don't got nothing.
Yeah, besides that, I got nothing.
Besides my Superstar of the Year trophy, I got nothing. Besides my guaranteed Hall of Fame ring, I got nothing.
I mean, whenever Legacy does, I forgot. Didn't they have Ember Gray in the Hall of Fame? I think they only had one Hall of Fame inductee this year.
It's very simple. They should only have people in the Hall of Fame of people who either A, are not returning to Legacy, or B, are retired.
I mean, I know Ember's not retired, but it's no hate against Ember because me and her are cool. Me, Hallie, her, and most of the people in Suicide Syndicate are all cool. But I don't think Ember's gonna return to Legacy anytime soon. Not because of Eddie and all of them. It's just I guess she just wants to focus on something else other than Legacy. Rage, Elite Pro, everything else. So I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that she got her, Hall of Fame ring early, rather than, you know, later.
Ah, all right. Well, let's head into a little bit of a different segment. Now, Goat Squad is obviously a faction that you helped start, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a part of Goat Squad, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Aaron Bourne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as many of the fans know, Aaron Bourne retired from wrestling. However, he made a recent return to NJPW. Is there anything you'd like to comment about your old chum Aaron Bourne coming back to wrestling?
I am glad he did, because I don't know, it just felt weird without having him there, and it feels weird not having him in Legacy. Now there's like, I know when you haven't asked, like, you know, storylines that haven't came to fruition, but supposedly there was a storyline where, like, if he didn't quit all those months ago, Legacy 5, I wouldn't have been fighting for the internet title. I would have been world champion by then, and what was it? He would have beat me for the title, and I would have been fine with that. But it's not Eddie that changed, like, the thing. He didn't mess with anything at all, but Aaron quit halfway through because I guess he was done. He didn't, like, it's not that it was just Legacy. He left all of his promotions, like NBDW, XCW, UVWA, Legacy. He didn't, like, and I'm not saying, you know, I have strong hate because he did. I don't. I could understand sometimes, you know, the constant, you know, work schedules and, you know, all of that just gets to people. And I mean, I understand why he, you know, he kind of wanted to rest for a little bit. And like I said, New Japan, I think, is a perfect place for Aaron. Like, with the skills that he has, I honestly think he's going to do a lot of things in New Japan.
All right, well, let's get on to the rest of... Actually, how about this? Because you talked about unseen plans with Aaron. Are there any other unseen plans that haven't come to fruition?
I mean, actually, no. Most of them have came to fruition, actually. So, I mean, well, no. Actually, yeah. Most of them have came to fruition. Well, no, because Eddie never usually, like... I never usually ask Eddie, you know, to, what was it? Like, I'm never like, hey, Eddie, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? I don't. I sit and wait. Whatever Eddie has for me, he has for me. I don't complain like Johnny and Tyler did when their ideas didn't get used. I waited, and I waited. Like, if I did what Johnny did and complained when my idea didn't get used, I don't see why I would want to be in the community, because I couldn't handle something so small, something so insignificant. So many people in Legacy have had their, had their ideas, you know, pushed away.
Well,
Derek was supposed to beat, sorry to, like, interrupt you. Derek was supposed to beat Kacey at Legacy 5 for the title, and that didn't happen. What did Derek do? He didn't go on and, I quit Legacy, or Eddie sucks. He said, okay, I'll wait. He waited. What did Johnny and Tyler do? They didn't wait. They decided to keep on pushing Eddie, and keep on pushing Eddie, and keep on pushing Eddie for what they wanted. And I know, you know, fight for what you want, but you can't fight for what you want when you just keep doing it over and over and over again.
Well, I don't believe that it's more about... At least with Tyler and Johnny, I don't believe it's more about their plans not being listened to. I believe it's more what like upset them was that their plans got
Were
used.
For someone different.
Yeah, like, I would be pissed too if I wrote a storyline and I was like, hey, this is a great story, I think it's absolutely phenomenal, I would like to do it, and then if I get told, no, we're not going to do it, I'm like, okay, we're not going to do it. But then if I left the promotion and then I got told, and then I find out that my storyline is being used, of course I'd be upset. You would be too.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
In all honesty, like, the weird part about it is that from what I was told, as soon as Ultimate X ended, like a few months ago, I was told that Derek was the one that stole it. It wasn't Tyler or Johnny. Derek was the one that, supposedly was the one that, stole it. I never heard anything about Tyler and Johnny until a few months before Legacy 5. So, I mean, I'm not saying, Johnny and them are a liar, that they didn't come up with the storyline. They probably did. And I mean, it's a good storyline, but like I said, I had heard from the day Ultimate X, a few hours after Ultimate X ended, that Derek was the one that stole the briefcase, not Tyler, not Johnny, or whoever they had said was originally supposed to steal it. Derek was told that he was gonna have the stolen briefcase, and then eventually cash it in on Kacey, because to renew their rivalry that they had from No Surrender to however long they had it for.
All right, that seems fair enough, but that is what I was told by Johnny and them. But it's just a very odd situation that we've been placed in. Because right now, it seems like a lot of things are being said, but then a lot of things are also
being, contradicted.
Yeah, that seems to be like a big issue, is that a lot of people are saying one thing, but then they're saying another thing to another person, and then that's where your drama starts.
Yeah, that's...
Please note this to anyone listening to this podcast. If you say one thing, you stick with that one thing, because otherwise, if you start saying other things to different people, and then those people start talking to different people, and they talk about that one topic, and they have different opinions because you said one thing, and it turned out that you said another thing to somebody else, that's where your drama begins. Stick with your story. Stick with one thing. And then, everyone's happy.
Everyone is happy.
Alright, now we're going to head on to another segment. We did this with Alexander Henry. Let's begin. But remember, we didn't do it with Johnny Hazard. So, remember a segment that we did where we certainly just talked about a bunch of different people on the roster, and we got he got Alex's quick opinions on them?
Yeah.
We're going to do that. But for LWW.
Alrighty.
Alright, let's begin. Now, please note, I'm just listing the people that are in the chat. If there's other people who are not in the chat, forgive me. Trick Osborne.
I don't really know much about him. In all honesty, I think he lost to Mike, or he lost to someone for the interim Junior World Heavyweight title, and that's the only thing I remember about him.
Alright. Tommy Jordan Jr.
I don't know. Tommy Jordan, I don't know. At first, when I first met him, he seemed cocky, arrogant, full of himself. Like most heels do, but I feel like he kind of took it, up a notch, I guess. But, I mean, he's cool. He's, I'm not saying, it's like, he's cool. I'm cool with him, but it's like, I'm not. I don't know. It's like, I could really care less about Tommy and his career and whatever.
Alright. Next up, TJR.
So TJR, I don't know. Only knew him mostly from UCW when it was still a thing. I mean, technically, what is he now? The Golden, Sphinx or whatever his tag team is in UCW with some dude I can't remember currently.
Alright.
That's the only thing I remember.
Alright. Eddie Mullins.
Don't know him.
Alright. ZZ West.
ZZ West, okay. I like ZZ. I like him a lot, actually. I don't know. At first, I could kind of see a little bit of Derek and Kacey in him, and it sounds weird, but it's like, he was kind of like a baby face, and he was an underdog when, After Dark happened, and he had won. No one expected him to, no one expected him to win. I didn't, you probably didn't, no one did, at all, but he showed everyone that he's not the person to mess with, and as we all know, recently his dad was attacked by Cody, and it's so funny how Cody's changed himself a little bit ever since we kicked him out of Road Squad. And I kind of feel like that pent-up anger he's using against ZZ currently is stemmed from what happened at Kingdom Come back in January.
Mike Storm.
I love Mike. He's one of my best friends. We've had so many matches together. That's our like ongoing joke between us two, is that we have so many matches in so many different promotions that at this point we can't even keep track of.
Ironic, you guys just had a match announced for UPW today, so I see what you mean already. I don't know how to say this name. Okay. Sonia Edwards.
Ooh, I don't like Sonia. She was a terrible boss when she was the boss. She always thought so highly of herself when in reality she wasn't. She was someone I guess lower compared to everyone else, and she thought she was elevated to bad bitch level because management put her as, I guess GM or whatever, but she's not GM anymore, and I'm kind of glad she was put in her place.
Alright, Christian Evans, also known as Nevada Nightmare on Instagram.
I think that's Stephen Shaw.
Stephen Shaw. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't even want to get into Stephen Shaw because...
Get into Stephen Shaw.
I don't know. Okay, I guess I'll just get into him. I don't know. I think it was, I don't know. I think it was annoying how he won the world title. He was literally handed the world title. He was just like, just like, here. Sonya was just like, here, have the world title. And if you knew, like, in the locker room, you were there most of the times in the locker room, but sometimes you were out and about doing, other shows and all that. But when Stephen walked into the room, dude, it was like he was rained upon with just absolute hate. He almost got into a fight with JC because of the whole situation, because JC was pissed off that Steven was just handed the world title. JC was there, he's been there for a while, and Stephen Shaw has been here for not even that long, and he was just boom, handed the world title.
Alright, anything else about that?
No, I'm good.
Megan May.
I think that's ZZ's sister. I've never met her personally, but condolences go out to her and ZZ's dad, hoping he's doing well in the hospital. Hope they get their revenge on Cody when they can. It's not that hard to beat him.
Kayla Sales.
She's the wife of Eddie, and I mean, we used to not see eye to eye when she was also a part of management. Convenient that the women managers, or the women GMs, have always been the ones that everyone's had a problem with. Like, everyone's had a problem with Kayla, Sonya, all that, but then it's like when Eddie was GM and Eddie was running the show, it was like everyone's like, oh my god, praise the Lord, Eddie's back. So I mean, like I said, I never saw eye to eye with Kayla at first, but now I do, and just she's the wife of Eddie, and I'm cool with Eddie obviously, so I'm cool with his wife.
When Charles Storm was GM, no one had problems. What? Excuse me?
What?
Excuse me?
What? I just had something in my throat.
Did you tell me to fuck off?
I just said cough cough.
You're gonna no, that's not no cough cough. That said fuck off. I heard it.
I said cough cough. What are you gonna tell me that what I didn't say? What do you
Motherfucker,
mean?
we have fucking high def, ultra HD, fucking 4K microphones. All right, we hear every single fucking sound.
Okay, watch. When the podcast comes, I will show you. I said cough cough.
Yeah, you said fuck off. I heard it. Fuck
I
you.
said cough cough.
Fuck you, bitch. Don't just show up on my show and start cussing me out.
Your mom.
Excuse me? What'd you say about my mama? I will fuck you up right here and now. Where's the 24/7 rep? But yeah, when Charles Storm was GM, no one had a problem with it. I don't know how to fucking say this. This is like Jasolin? Basically,
What?
JBF underscore 2K. Jasolin?
Oh, Jaslyn.
That ain't no fucking Jaslyn. I've fucking seen how Jaslyn is spelled. That ain't it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to. I think that's how it's spelled, but people just call her Jazz for short. She's cool. Also, she's the little sister of Mike. I think either little sister or big sister. Probably little because you know height differences and all. But yeah, she's really cool also.
All right. Brian Cole.
Brian Cole. Ooh. Don't. I think he's in. I don't know.
He's in DWA. I
He's
think.
in Wolfpack. Oh, DWA. Oh, he's Aldo's partner. Yeah, I only know Aldo from. That's pretty much. I only know Cole because of Aldo. So I mean, yeah.
All right. Jay Hall.
Jay Hall. Jay Hall. I mean, I don't really know what to say about him if I'm being honest. I remember, I think a few months back, I had teased. I mean, I never like brought it up to anyone, but I had somewhat teased, I guess, a match with him. Even though, you know, like I said, no one knew it was him because I had posted a picture of Black Flash, which is like, I guess, the Flash of Death, and it's like it killed speedsters. And as we all know, I think Jay's current nickname is still the Flash. So that whole gimmick, or the whole thing that I was gonna do was, I was going to kill the Flash, aka kill Jay Hall. But I mean, obviously now, as you can tell, like I said, I hadn't told Eddie about it. No one knew about it. JC thought it was an attire, like it was an attire, like, you know, oh, he's about to make this an attire, and it's gonna be awesome. But in reality, it was just me somewhat teasing a match against him, which was never gonna happen in like any place at all.
Are you trying to challenge him out or call him out right now? Potential match in the future if he does respond.
Potential match in the future, yeah. If he wants to, I'm completely down to face Jay Hall.
All right. Seven Sky.
Seven Sky. Oh no, I don't know much about her either.
We already talked about him, but just very quickly, Duncan Welker.
As you already said, I've already put my opinions in on Duncan, my 10 cents, 2 cents, whatever, into stuff about Duncan. So, what was it? If people want to know what I know about my feelings about Duncan, just go back maybe 10 minutes into the podcast. I think someone.
All right, somewhere there. Cody Hagan.
Yeah, somewhere there. Cody Hagan. Originally, I'd had him in Goat Squad because Isaac Barton, because they were like, it's like I had to have one or I couldn't have the other. Or like, yeah, so it's like if I wanted Isaac and just Isaac, I couldn't have just Isaac. I had to add Cody also. So the Rockstars, which is what they were currently called at the time, had made their way to GS as a sort of subdivision of Goat Squad. So yeah, that had happened. And recently he had just been getting on like all of Goat Squad's nerves, and he was constantly annoying us about stuff and saying that, you know, any chance he could get, because this was before y'all's Match of Kingdom Come, and all he could ever talk about was you. He was like an obsessed fangirl, and I was like, you know, here, we're gonna make a deal with Cody. If you lose to Charles, you're getting kicked out of Goat Squad. Like, you're not, anything you do is not going to convince me. And he was like, at first he was like, he was hesitant to agree, but he agreed with it. And then when we kicked him out, he had met with me backstage and he got pissed off at me, and I said, hey, I said if you lost, you got kicked out of Goat Squad. And we almost like came to blows right then and there, but we didn't. We had, I think, came to blows before then. You had mentioned it, I think, with Johnny Hazard after party. What was it? Yeah. What was it? After party. Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Next up, Brent Newman.
Brent Newman. Don't really know much about him. All I know, I think he's current Legacy 24/7 champion, and I think he was third place winner in the Legacy New Blood tournament.
All right. Evelyn Diaz.
Evelyn Diaz. I think that's Eddie's niece or his. I think it's his niece or his cousin. One of the two. She was in Goat Squad for a short while. Obviously she's not in it now, but she was, and yeah, she's cool.
Cameron Chandler.
Cameron Chandler. I used to not see eye to eye with Cameron at all, and then I don't know. I guess I just somehow just gained a respect for him. I don't know.
Riley Mary Boulay.
I think Riley's an awesome chick. In all honesty, like, she's just cool. I don't know. Like, some people, like, originally when she joined the community, no one liked her because she was a, like, Lacey Evans copy. But I feel like she kind of took, you know, that criticism and, like, I guess built up her, I guess, no pun intended, legacy. So now people aren't saying, you know, what a Lacey Evans ripoff. She's, like, I guess she's somewhat developed Riley Marie Boulay, which is herself, obviously, into a whole new, like, character.
All right. David Blake.
No, David Blake. David. He was also one of my inspirations in the community to originally join, and I haven't had a match with him yet. I'm going to at NBDW Reunited. I've been told that the match was going to be for my world title there, but I've been hearing some rumors backstage that a huge match supposedly is going to be coming up for Reunited, and it's going to be a tag match.
Yeah, I heard
and
a
I don't
match.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, I think David had said about it in the locker room.
Yeah, I heard about your shitty match. Very upset by it.
For what reason?
Because I was supposed to be in NDBW.
Well, Charles, you want to know what I have to tell you about that?
What?
It'd be like that sometimes.
Hey, listen, bro. I hate you. Don't make me say it. I'll say it right now, and it'll be like a huge shocker. I was supposed to be in Goat Squad. What the fuck happened to that? Huh, Nick? Huh, Nick?
Oh,
huh?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened with that, Nick?
So about that post that I had said all those months ago, when I said I wanted these people to join, I remember that. I think Cody actually got mad at me because of it. He's like, "Oh, Charles and Goat Squad? Nuh-uh, I don't. That's stupid." Because I put TJR, I put the Valentine twins, you
put
and
Rob.
I think I'll put Rob also. And then I don't know who else I put besides those. Because I think I consider, because I put the Valentine twins as, you know, two separate entities. So it was, you know, Mandy and Maurice. So it was TJR, Mandy and Maurice, Rob, and then you. As I think I put them in from least wanted or least likely to happen to most likely, and I think you were at the beginning with least likely to happen.
Yeah, I see how it is. You dick. Just don't want me. You just don't want me in Goat Squad. That's how it is. No, I get it.
Confusing.
No, I get it, Nick. I get it. I totally get it. Dick.
Okay then.
Derek.
Derek. You know, originally, like, I somewhat didn't like Derek because he was kind of, you know, annoying, but I eventually, you know, got used to him and, you know, everything.
Alright. Alexander Aldo.
He's cool.
JC.
JC. That's a... I don't know. JC. He's cool. I kind of like lost a little bit of respect for him because he had attacked Mike. What was it? Recently, for what I was told, no apparent reason, because he was just super jealous of, you know, Mike and all of us getting opportunities, and he had just stuck at the back of the line for so long, so he got kind of jealous. But I mean, I'm still friends with him. I still have a respect for him, but you know, I've lost a little bit of respect for him because of, you know, what he's done. But you know, I still have, you know, respect for him.
All right. Kacey.
Kacey, oh Kacey, he is one of my best friends. He is like one of like, I don't know. It's just when we say we're a brotherhood, we're not joking about that. We are brothers. So it's not like, oh, you know, we're a brotherhood, you know, we're brothers. When I say that we are brothers, I mean, in all honesty, we are brothers. We've had, you know, our differences, and we've had our fights and all that, but we still, at the end of the day, we're still friends. We're still, you know, cool with each other. And, you know, I feel like nothing, I mean, a few months ago, he did, you know, low blow me, but I mean, as you can tell by Kingdom Come, I had completely, like, I hadn't forgot about it, but I just said, you know what, fuck it, just come back. We need someone else here.
Alright. Final two. Dawn Torres?
Dawn Torres. Oh, I like Dawn Torres. I've never met her personally, but I did congratulate her on her recent, what was it? Her recent child.
I don't
Currently
know.
can't
I don't
remember
care either.
Currently can't remember the name of the child, but congratulations, Dawn and David.
And finally, Charles Storm.
Oh, Charles Storm. I'm kidding. Nah,
Watch yourself.
And you know, at first
Walking on some thin fucking ice here.
some of the booking decisions, like, it's not really like you that I hate. It was the decisions you were getting booked in. If you like understand what I mean by that.
Elaborate.
Like sometimes I didn't like how you were booked, or because I thought you were like, you shouldn't have been booked like that. Not like you shouldn't have been booked like that because you don't like, what was it? You did like, should get booked better. It was like you didn't need to get booked like that. Like what was it? It was one of the pay-per-views. It was one of the Supercard pay-per-views. Where Rob won the title, you came back, and then, you know, became technically a double champion, and then somehow it continued your reign. I was so confused by that because it's like, what was it? I mean, I know it shouldn't be as confusing because it's like, you know, it's just A, B, boom, done. It was like that. And then, I guess, currently, I mean, because obviously, I don't know anymore because Eddie had said something about JC versus Rob. I don't know if that's actually going to come to fruition or Eddie will change his mind about it, but it was supposed to be, you know, you versus JC at Ultimate X, and
I got replaced because I had a podcast. I'm getting the Chris Jericho treatment.
Like I said, it'd be like that sometimes.
Getting the Chris Jericho treatment.
Eventually, you will get your spot back. I mean, technically, you have a rematch clause, I guess,
That I do.
you know. So.
Let's begin. A couple of superstars ago, we mentioned Kacey, and you said how he's one of your best friends. Do you mind if I ask, and I'm sure the friends would love to know, we want the person behind Nick Rodriguez for this, we don't want Nick Rodriguez himself. How did you
Technically it is, the same character, because my character is literally just me, Nikolas Rodriguez, out of character is
So
Nikolas
fancy.
Rodriguez.
So fancy. But how did your friendship with Kacey start?
Okay, so it kind of sounds a little bit childish at the beginning, because I originally didn't like Kacey because I had a crush on some chick. Like I said, super childish. I didn't like him. I was like, what is it? He's just gonna be one of her other exes that's just gonna be a fuckboy to her. And then what was it? The funniest thing happened. We went to the same show in Houston, and I was like, wait, you were here tonight? And he's like, yeah, I was. I'm like, you wanna be friends? He's like, sure. That's literally how we began. And then from there, we're still best friends. So literally, wrestling was the reason. Wrestling and I guess a girl were the reasons why we became best friends. Like, it's not even like, people are always like, wrestling never brings anyone together. Well, I mean, if it wasn't for wrestling, I wouldn't have my best friend that I currently do have.
But how did it begin?
I mean, that literally was the beginning. It was like literally just that. Like I said, I didn't like Kacey because, I had a crush on some chick, and then we found, like, literally, we found out we both like pro wrestling. Most of my friends that I they aren't into pro wrestling. They're into football, baseball, soccer, etc., etc. Kacey was one of my only friends that I had that was into wrestling, and I was like, dude, this could be like one of the only people I meet in my whole life that likes wrestling. And I joined the community, and then I was like, oh, everyone likes wrestling, so I mean.
All right. So speaking of how things began, how did Goat Squad, the very popular rookie team, begin?
Okay, so I guess we're gonna go out of character, like behind the scenes, and I guess in. So literally, Goat Squad originally started because me and Kacey had the same, like, on our personal Instagram accounts, we had the same name, but obviously swapped with our names. It was Nick the Goat, Kacey the Goat, and I was like, Goat Squad. Boom. That's how Goat Squad started. Literally just because we had the same Instagram tags, or Instagram names. Most of the big things that have happened in my life all happened over something so small. So Goat Squad used to be so big, and if it wasn't for two kids that didn't have the same name, if Kacey would have had Kacey the Virgin or some weird shit like that, we probably wouldn't have Goat Squad, because obviously I wouldn't have gotten any inspiration from it. So I mean, I guess thanks to me and Kacey for having the name, Kacey the Goat, Nick the Goat, we wouldn't have Goat Squad, I guess.
Alright. Now, Nick, we've talked a long time here today. We've talked a lot, and it's been a very great conversation, but we are coming to the end of our podcast. So, let's begin our final question, and that is, you've had a very extensive career here in the community for a very short time. You've had incredible matches, you've had incredible rivalries, incredible friendships, incredible factions, all around an incredible career for someone who's been in the community for such a short time. What is next for Nick Rodriguez?
What's next for Nick Rodriguez? That's a question I also ask myself every day, getting philosophical and stuff. I always ask myself, what's next for Nick Rodriguez? What do I do? I've accomplished so much in my short Spaniard in all these promotions that I don't really know what to do. But I've been teasing at something, Operation NBK, that was starting to plan and is going into effect sometime soon, hopefully after possibly Ultimate X, whenever it does eventually happen. It's not going to be just a legacy thing. It's going to happen across all promotions that I'm in with my partner that I will surely be announcing soon, which, I mean, if people already had paid attention to what I had said about it, then they should obviously know who the second partner is, or they should know who the partner is, and obviously since, you know, it should be obvious who it is, I'm not going to say their name because, you know, people will find out.
Alright. Well, if that is all, then thank you, Nick, for joining me on this episode of the one, the only, the Brewing A Storm podcast. It's been an absolutely amazing conversation you and I have had today, but unfortunately, like all good things, they must come to an end.
Yeah.
Nick, hopefully I'll see you once again in an LWW ring, hopefully very soon.
I mean, technically we can't say hopefully soon, or we can't say hopefully again. We've never been in an LWW ring against each other.
That we have
now
not.
That I think about it, no one has seen Nick versus Charles.
Good luck
Eddie.
against your match against your best friend Kacey at Summer Showdown. Hopefully it's going to be one hell of a match.
Hopefully so. First match, we both disappointed because we didn't know what the fuck to do, but as most of our recent encounters have been, they've gotten way better than our first encounter like all those years ago, or all that year ago.
Alright. Well, thank you for joining me, Nick. I've been Charles Storm.
I've been here.
This has been Brewing A Storm. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to say goodbye.